It was former Congressman Joseph DioGuardi and the board of the Albanian American Civic League who described to me in vivid detail a Tirana of just a few years ago, in which citizens wearing nearly identical suits moved furtively through the main square, where now a multitude passes and mingles daily. A Tirana in which only government officials were allowed to own cars, where now hundreds of automobiles traverse the streets. A Tirana in which there was almost no commercial activity amid an absolutely threadbare existence, in which now, as I have witnessed, free enterprise is flourishing along with foreign investment. In addition to the fairly extensive academic research that I have conducted in relation to Albania since 1991, I have heard numerous personal accounts from Albanians, from Vlora to Durrës, from Shkodra to Tirana, and in the diaspora, from Titova to New York City, of the barbarous treatment that Albanians suffered for 50 years at the hands of communist dictator Enver Hoxha. I never knew that Albania, the Albania that prior to the collapse of communism had cut off all of its communication with the rest of the world and was quite typically referred to as a prison without walls. However, since 1993, I have met the survivors of the old Albania and made 3 trips there, including a delegation joining with Congressman Gilman, who was en route from Athens to Tirana to discuss Greek-Albanian relations with President Sali Berisha. This was in August of 1995. I know the face of the new Albania, and nothing, including the recent elections, has altered my belief that Albania's movement from the most brutally repressive and centralized communist regime in Europe to a nascent democratic society in the space of only 4 years is an astonishing accomplishment worthy of our respect and, much more important, to our support. It is also the case that nothing has served to dispel my concern about the glaring contradictions between American and Western responses to Albania and the 3.5 million Albanians who reside outside its borders and the rest of the region. The May 1996 elections were far from unblemished, and I am not here, I assure you, to argue otherwise. But I am here to place the elections and their aftermath in a context that hopefully will help move us from political expediency to justice in our dealings with Albania and the Balkans. For 50 years, there was no consistent or considerable outcry against the ferocious totalitarianism of the Hoxha regime. Where was the world's indignation when Albanians lived on the brink of starvation in a constant state of fear? Since the collapse of that regime 5 years ago, Albania, with minimal support and recognition for making a peaceful transition to a democratic state and for undergoing a thorough restructuring of its economy, has groped into the late 20th century. Why have we been so sparing in our response to this transformation?